7 ways to convince someone to reconcile. Number 1, apologize. What was your role in the relationship and the breakup? And go a little bit deeper than, oh, I'm so sorry that it doesn't have to be cheating, but I was spending too much time at work. I was a workaholic, for instance. Find reasons that aren't just that reason. That really shows that you understand yourself, that you've grown from the experience and the mistake that you made, and that you really want to change and do something different in the future. Number 2, talk about this reason with your ex. If you can't talk in person, write a letter. Discuss the reason. If you can in person, that's ideal. But if you can't, talk about in writing, this is what happened. This is what I was thinking. This is why I made the mistake I made, or how I responded to the mistake you made. Pretend, for instance, that your ex was the one who cheated, and then you just walked away from the relationship because you blew up and you're very hurt and angry. Totally understandable. But if you'd like to go back and redo it, then talk about the reasons with your ex, why you responded the way you did. Take as much ownership and responsibility as you can. Number 3, change your lifestyle. So whatever happened that led up to the breakup, make specific changes to prevent that from happening again. What can you do differently if you were to get back together? Or even in your friendships with your other friends or your family relationships, how can you change your lifestyle to just be more loving and committed in all your relationships, not just as a strategy or a tip on how to convince someone to give you a second chance, but just as a way to be a more loving and kind person in general in all your relationships. Whatever things that you can do that are lifestyle changes that offer physical, tangible, emotional, spiritual benefits, the better. Change your lifestyle in specific ways. Number 4 is talk about how your lifestyle changes directly affect your relationship. So maybe you're healthier now physically, so you have more energy for the kids or for your spouse, or maybe now you can go biking together, whereas your partner always went biking alone in the past. How has your lifestyle changes physically made a difference in who you are and how you are in relationships today? Talk about this with the person that you want to get back together with. Number 5, don't just talk, but physically invite your partner into these lifestyle changes. Show them that you're serious about changing your life and getting back together. Again, this isn't just a tip on how to convince someone to give you a second chance. It's actually changing your life and inviting the person that you broke up with or who broke up with you into these new changes that you've made. Number 6, listen to your ex. If your ex doesn't want to talk to you, give them time and space to breathe. Use that time for yourself in order to make these lifestyle changes or to reflect on what you've learned or to somehow become a better person. Just know that when your ex is telling you something about why they're scared to reconcile or why they never want to speak to you again, there's something else going on that doesn't necessarily involve you. You may not be able to talk about this with the person, and you may never convince them to give you a second chance, but just know this, because this knowledge will change how you interact with future people or interact with your ex. This can change how you relate to them, and your ex will pick up on that. Number 7, the last way to convince someone to give you a second chance or reconcile. Lighten up. Be creative, maybe playful, be curious, do something a little different. Send a bouquet of chocolate roses that are edible, or a fresh fruit bouquet. Do something that's a little lighthearted, a little bit more fun to break the seriousness of it. You don't want to make fun of it or make jokes, but maybe you want to lighten it up somehow with a bouquet of balloons, for example. I remember once someone I was dating 30 years ago sent me a bouquet of balloons to my workplace. And it was so much fun. It was just light and joyful. And then I had to try and drive home with those balloons in the back seat of my car, and they kept kind of straying up into the front as I was driving. And it was hilarious. And that was 30 years ago. And I'll never forget that experience of receiving those balloons. So, lighten up is my 7th tip on how to reconcile or how to convince someone to give you a second chance. I hope something was useful for you, and may you blossom into who God created you to be.